Hey, Rexburg, welcome to episode 13 of the Rexburg Hustle. My name is Rick Robinson. We're excited to have you guys here with us today. Hopefully you guys are on the live stream. If you guys are on the live stream, please make sure to like, subscribe, share, get the word out. Guys, we have just had so much fun doing this. Can't believe we're already 13 weeks into it. But guys, we really want to help get this podcast growing, get people's stories out there, especially today, because we have an amazing story today that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. As a kind of a typical Rexburg spring day / construction season outside. But anyway, everybody just start praying for better weather because we're kind of ready for it. So Travis is not here today. Travis had an incident that prevented him from coming today. So anyway, we'll miss Travis today, but he will be back next week for our show. We do have the next several weeks lined up already with some pretty awesome shows coming up. So we're really excited about that. Guys, our spotlight today is the Sled Shed. If you guys have not been to the Sled Shed on Main Street, you guys got to go check it out. Everything about bikes, boards, skateboards, pretty much any outdoor sport, those guys cover it. They've got bouldering inside their facility there. Just an awesome place. You may also know them as Sticks and Stones, but here this summer, as was announced last week on our show, they will be solely the Sled Shed. The Sticks and Stones name is actually going to be going away. So, guys, go give those guys a visit if you, especially where we're getting here into mountain bike season. And then go back to next week, go back to episode 12, because it was a fantastic show with Joe Hill talking all about the Sled Shed. So anyway, guys, today we have two wonderful guests, two wonderful members of our community that we're excited to have on the show today. They're going to be talking about a really, really neat story, something very, very cool that they're going to be doing. And anyway, we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But we do have Aeryk and Sammantha Checketts on the Rexburg Hustle today. Guys, go ahead and start. Come on up. Aeryk is from Utah. Sammantha is here from Idaho. She is a native, and we're excited to have them on the show today. And guys, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Well, good. You should be. It's an exciting place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us first a little bit about you guys.
Okay, well, we met
And really close to the mic.
closer.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
We met going to school here. Obviously, like a ton of people.
Right.
Typical
BYU I do.
Yep. Exactly.
Exactly. And,
Did you propose in the I Center?
No.
Did you know when they were building that, they'd actually dedicated an area called like Proposal Corner or something?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was on the plans before they built that building. Sorry. That's how old I am. I remember anyway. Keep going.
That's awesome.
But we have two kids. We have a 3-year-old little girl, Evelyn,
Mm-hmm.
and an 18-month-old boy called Grant.
Okay.
Or bulldozer.
Bulldozer.
Yeah.
I like that name better.
Yeah. Me too. It's more fitting.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And then what do you guys do for fun?
Pretty much.
Everything outdoors.
Everything
We go paddleboarding, hiking, swimming, hiking. I don't know. We work out a lot.
Awesome.
A lot of camping. We're hoping to try to kind of dedicate this summer to exploring the Tetons.
Uh-huh.
We're not close enough still.
There you go.
There we go.
I'm telling you, you got to be close to these things.
You guys
Yeah.
super close.
Yeah. Cool. So do you guys like want to scale the Grand Teton, or do you just want to go like as far as Table Rock, or what are you guys thinking as
I
far
don't
as that?
know.
No, maybe not quite that hardcore.
Okay.
But, just
Still
do a
got
lot
the
of
two little kids.
a lot of
Yeah,
hiking.
that's true.
We took Evelyn and Grant up to what's the name of the waterfall? Up
Cave
there?
Falls? No.
There's a
On the
waterfall
backside.
up by Driggs.
Oh, okay.
The caves. There's like caves up there.
Yeah.
The
The Darby
Caves.
Wind
The Darby
Caves.
Wind
Uh-huh.
Caves, yeah.
Awesome place up there.
Our daughter at 2, she walked like the 2 miles up there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was epic.
Rexburg, if you guys have not been to the Darby Wind Caves, highly advise that you guys go there. It's a super cool place, as you
Yeah.
guys.
Wait about a
found it.
month though for the snow to leave.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of a
or 4 months.
at the rate we're going. Yeah. In
Exactly.
fact, who was it? It may have been Joe Hill on last week's episode said that people were still snowmobiling up in Island Park right now.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, which
Wow.
is crazy. So awesome. Well, guys, you guys, you're here on the show today for a very special purpose. You guys are doing something which I think is awesome. And why don't you tell us first a little bit about kind of what today's purpose, what the purpose of the show is today? What are you guys trying to do?
Okay, well, some good friends that Sammantha and I met. Actually, I met him on my mission. We talked for about 10 seconds. And
Where did
then,
you serve your mission?
Rexburg, Guatemala.
Wow. Okay.
It was a cool place. And we met there for 10 seconds. And then Sammantha met his wife.
Okay.
They're both art majors. And then we kind of started hanging out and stuff. And we became great friends. And his sister, she is a cancer survivor, and she recently just got leukemia again, and she's battling that. And that's who we're here to support is his sister Kelly.
Okay.
And we just wanted to give awareness out to the community of her battle, and let everybody know, like just support her in this time of need for her and her family.
So it's Kelly Anderson Wise is the person that they're talking about. She lives in Utah. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And you guys don't really know her.
Nope.
And this is what I think is so cool, is just people who are trying to raise awareness and help somebody who's in need that you really don't know. And I think that's something so unique to Rexburg that we see so often. And so I just commend you guys for what you're doing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Kelly's story?
I hope I don't. I got my notes here, and I hope I don't slaughter it because, like the way they told us about her and all that she's gone through, it's such like a roller coaster of a story.
Yeah.
But
give us some insight to her story.
yeah, she was 24 years old when she was first diagnosed. See if I say it right. Acute myeloid leukemia.
And
So-
sh-
24 is young.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how old I am.
That's your age.
And she had 2 kids like me, so
Wow.
I'm like that's like where I am in life right now.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
and then she was she was pretty much told that she needed to start treatments like right away, like within the week, or else she would be gone.
Wow.
It was really aggressive when she
Wow.
found out.
So that just completely turned her life upside down.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So she's 24. She was diagnosed with cancer, with leukemia. What happened from there?
Well, she was able to go through the chemotherapy and all the treatments the first time, and it's about 6 months of treatments,
Yep.
and she's able to beat it. And I know there's everybody who knows somebody who's gone through cancer knows how hard that is.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of the side effects of her, going through all that treatments is it apparently induced early menopause. So she was told that
In her 20s. Wow.
I know.
Just 2 kids.
Oh my gosh.
And she was told that they would never have kids again because
Right.
menopause.
Right.
And then a little bit through later, a couple of years later, they actually they had twins, a boy and a girl.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like I said, her whole story is kind of it's like a roller coaster. It's
Just
like-
lots of ups, lots of downs,
yeah, exactly. There's
and twists and turns and
Yeah.
flips
Mhm.
and
Yep.
miracle
Oof.
happens, and then there's like the big, huge, like, oh no, and then another miracle, and
Yeah.
that's really cool.
And so she got through the first round of chemotherapy, and her life was starting to become a little bit more normal. She had the 2 kids, but during that time after going through that experience, she faced some mental illness like depression and anxiety, and
this was brought on through the treatments, brought on just through the experience
Yeah.
in general.
I mean, I imagine that going through something like that is very traumatic.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Especially at such a young age. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't expect that in like the prime of your life
Right.
to go through such horrible illnesses and stuff.
Hmm.
Especially like since you said, like one day she was fine, and then they kind of just went to the doctor, and they're like, well, if you didn't come in now, you would have died a week from now.
Right.
Something so like,
Right.
you don't even see that coming.
Yeah. No, and that's scary. And I know that's a lot of times how leukemia works. I mean, because I was telling you guys in the pre-show that, my aunt has leukemia right now and is in the hospital, and it was a very similar thing. She just felt very ill one day, went to the hospital, and they said, "You're here. You're not going anywhere. In fact, we're transferring you to, LDS hospital," and she hasn't gone home since. And it's been,
Yeah.
since last year.
And
So-
when we were talking to her, it wasn't super clear, but it did sound like she was away from her family quite a bit. So I imagine she was in the hospital that first time quite a bit, and
Right.
And now she's still gone from her family.
Man.
During the second.
So 24 years old, 2 little kids at home, probably somewhat newly married is my guess, diagnosed with leukemia, early menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Now
And
and then
then-
suffering from anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
and everything else that goes along with that, and the mental stress and the heartache and the we actually had an episode all about those things, talking about depression and the effects of it and how that just really takes a toll on your life and your soul. So up to this point, she hasn't had an easy road.
Oh no, definitely not. And like we were saying, she has gone through all this hard times after all the treatments, and then 5 years afterwards, they finally, they gave her the good to go.
Yeah.
And they said you're cured.
That she was
You're good.
okay.
I imagine, like, for me, that would be such a relief. Like, like
Oh,
a
absolutely. After fighting it for so long and then
Yeah.
going through I'm sure that was just a massive weight relieved.
For sure,
Wow.
for sure. And then this, like, the crazy thing is, like I said, the whole roller coaster. 1 year after she gets that you're cured,
Yeah.
she gets diagnosed again with leukemia, but it's a different form of leukemia. Excuse me. And apparently it was brought on from the treatments of the first, treating that first leukemia, ended up causing the second one years later.
So the cancer treatments, the chemo, the radiation, I'm assuming, and things like that actually brought on another form of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just leukemia again. But I guess the cells were a little bit different this time around, like just a little bit different. So they said that I think she went through a little bit of chemo.
I'm going to have you pull your mic closer.
Sorry.
You're good.
And then she went through some more chemo. It just didn't seem to be working. And so they decided to go ahead and go through the bone marrow transplant. And so they found 2 matches, and one of them, they're both her siblings.
Okay.
And one of them was her older sibling, Kimberly, her oldest.
Okay.
And she flew in from, I think it was Iowa. But before she could get that transplant, she had to undergo a really intense, rigorous session of chemotherapy.
Okay.
That completely wiped out her entire immunity system. Like,
Right.
pretty much just all gone.
Right.
They pretty much described it as like, a newborn baby. And
There's just nothing left. And I'm sure people who visited her were suited up and masks and everything. Because they can't afford, when there's no immune system, they can't afford to have any sort of germ, any sort of bug, anything.
So she's not just chilling at home during this. She's at the hospital this whole time.
Oh my gosh.
And then
I know she was the way they told us is that the bone marrow transplant itself is actually, it was more painful than the chemotherapy and all that. It was. Yeah.
So if you guys aren't aware of how these bone marrow transplants work, first you have to have a match, and it has to be a really good match. And they typically go to your siblings or your children, if you have children, if they're kind of, I guess, old enough to do it. I know they always search your family first. If none of those are good matches, then they start searching kind of the database of people. But for those bone marrow transplants, I mean, they're insanely intense because generally they don't put you under. I believe they drill like right into your pelvis to get that bone marrow to do the transplant, and it's insanely, like you guys said, insanely painful. I could not imagine having to go through something like that.
No, I know, me neither.
On top of everything else that she's had to go through.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
That's just rough.
So is that where she's at right now? How long ago did she have the bone marrow transplant?
I think it was a little bit, about 50 days ago.
50 days
she's
ago.
About halfway through, and they're just waiting. You have to wait 100 days, and then they test it and see if it took. And so,
Wow.
And
so where is she right now? Is she in the hospital, or is she's okay? So and still with no immune system, or is that starting to rebuild, or do we know?
I'm not sure. I think
they said that if the bone marrow takes, then if it takes, then she has another 2-year recovery where it starts pretty much as a newborn baby, and she has to get vaccinated all over again, and it's a 2-year recovery of just building that up all over again after if the bone marrow takes.
If it takes. And
And
if it doesn't take,
then she might be looking at a second bone marrow transplant. So.
Wow. And what an honorable thing. You said it was her sister Kimberly who did the transplant.
Yeah.
That's no easy task for the giver of the bone marrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has, if I understand correctly, I think it has to be taken the same way it's given. And I don't think that's a very delightful process for anybody.
And if I know anything about their family, we just know the brother. We just know the brother Nathan, and if I know anything about their family, they're just awesome.
Yeah.
Like Nathan's just the sweetest guy ever. I'm sure if any one of them would just, they have each other's backs. So.
Man. So what are you guys doing? So you're here to raise awareness, but you're also wanting to do something else. And what is that?
Yeah, so what we want to do is kind of throughout this summer and through September is Samantha and I we're agents now. We sell homes here with Team Green
Mm-hmm.
in Rexburg. And what we want to do is throughout these next several months, every home that we help somebody buy or sell, we're going to donate $1,000 towards her and helping her with the cost of everything and to her recovery. Because I know they told us the first time that she went through chemotherapy, it was almost $1 million in costs.
$1 million. $1 million.
Hmm. And so
Wow.
that means they
first
tried
time.
all the chemotherapy again for the second time, and then they have to do all this stuff on top of that.
Bone marrow transplants. I mean, she's in the hospital. I mean, her immune system is shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just-
So money is an important thing to them right now because, yeah, I'm sure they do have insurance, but deductibles, as we all know, are insanely high these days, and insurance may or may not cover things.
yeah.
Plus, probably just the time away from work and everything
Yeah,
else that
and,
goes
like,
along with it.
If her husband's working, they have to find people to watch. They have 4 kids.
Oh my gosh, that's
so-
right, because they had the twins. Yeah.
And she's away from her family right now.
Mm.
She's not able to be with them. And
Wow.
So it's just really rough on the whole family.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
I'm sure. Now, she's at a hospital down in Utah. Do we know which hospital she's at?
I'd have to check.
Okay,
my
that's
notes.
fine.
I think it was like Harrison.
Okay.
But-
Okay. But is she in a cancer treatment
I believe
center?
so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're trying to raise. You guys are doing something very special, and I know that you've reached out to several other people and are going to be reaching out to more people
Mhm.
to see if you can help raise awareness and help this family back on their way. I just think it's a very honorable thing to do, and I think that's really, really cool that you guys are doing that. And I hope that some of our viewers out there are able to help contribute to that.
Yeah.
Now, how can the viewers? I mean, generally we have several thousand people that will end up watching this or listening to it, or how can they help this family?
So I think we did just attached a GoFundMe link on the page.
Okay.
So it should be attached to this video.
Okay. Great.
And
And if it's not, we'll
on-
put it in there.
Yep.
Okay.
And on the Rexburg Hustle, so you can just
Uh-huh.
go there and donate.
Okay.
We'll put another link to their sister's email. They're having people contact them, or you can contact us
Okay.
directly if you want to get involved in any way. We
Mhm.
are open to anything.
Is there a certain amount you guys are trying to raise for this family?
We're going to shoot for $15,000 by this
15,000.
September,
Okay.
and
So
go from
Which would take a huge burden off them, I'm sure,
yeah,
Mhm.
because I'm sure that's already been spent many times over
I'm sure.
just in the medical bills.
Mhm.
Anything else the viewers can? Oh, look, hey, yeah, the link's up. Cool.
Yep.
Anything else that the viewers can do? Anything you would advise them
mean,
to do
it's
besides
always-
prayers and
Yeah, just praying for them.
Uh-huh.
I'd also think it's really awesome to hear other people's cancer stories
Mhm.
and stories of mental illness and leukemia and cancer. So like, feel free to share those stories and to, like, people find great comfort and connection
Yeah.
and knowing that like you're not alone out there and there's other people who've gone through the same thing as you. And even though like I haven't been through it or
Mhm.
nobody in my immediate family has been, I can't imagine how hard it is. And
Right.
I imagine the support that they can get from even a community as in Rexburg.
Mhm.
Just people thinking about them. I'm sure that just helps boost their spirits and
Yeah.
just some love.
And really, it's I think it's interesting. I think when you're in kind of that situation, a lot of other things in life just kind of all of a sudden don't matter, and it probably just kind of comes back down to the basics. Mainly family, beliefs, prayer. I'm sure a lot of it just kind of boils back down to that. And I think, and me personally, never having been in a scenario like that, but knowing many people who have, and having the chance to talk with them, it's, it just kind of really all of a sudden puts a huge shift on your life and the way you view things and the way and what things matter all of a sudden, and I think it's so easy for all of us to get caught up in the things of this world, the things that we think matter. And until you go through something like that,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty humbling experience for somebody we never wish it upon anybody. We never wish it upon ourselves, but it's, I think it's definitely a very life-changing and mentally life-changing, thing for whoever has to go through something like that.
Exactly.
It is
Just
for
those little things in life, like just being with her family, I'm sure would mean the world to her,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just the opportunity to finish this and have it take and just be able to go home and be with them
Yeah.
and
Oh, how much more do her kids mean to her all of a sudden? How much more does her husband mean to her parents, to her sibling? You know, I think it's just amazing. And
exactly.
man, it's just, it's heartbreaking to have to hear people going through these. And unfortunately, sadly, it's a very common thing these days. I know everybody who's probably watching has known somebody who has gone through something like this. But and I think what you guys are doing, I think is going to be a huge help. It's going to be a blessing to that family.
I hope so.
It will be, absolutely, because like we just talked about, all these little small things really are kind of the things that mean the most.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing, I don't know, like you guys were saying, is we all have our times with our kids that we're frustrated with
Right.
them, and just like
oh yeah,
you need that moment of just like you know what I mean, just before you talk, and our moments when you're frustrated with each other and just
Right.
like all the stress of life, and then like kind of reading her story, and it's kind of like I bet she would, she wants that back.
Yeah.
She wants nothing more than that back.
Yeah.
So
If you guys could just pretend like she's standing here, what would you say to her?
I would want to give her a hug.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like sorry, I'm getting a little teary.
You okay?
In these situations, there's no words, like especially since I haven't been through it, and there's nothing you can say.
Right.
Sometimes somebody just needs somebody to just give you a hug and sit there and
Just have that embrace.
just let you know that you care.
Yeah.
And I know we're like hundreds of miles away, but I would give her a virtual hug right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure she accepts your virtual hug. Aeryk, what about you?
Actually, so my dad passed away last year,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a couple of he had a couple of health problems,
Mm-hmm.
but I think kind of what overall led up to his passing away was because he's a little too proud to ask for help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kind of now I wish that he was willing to do that, and so I could still have my dad with me.
Yep.
So I guess what I let her know that it's really hard right now. You're going through a lot of pain and heartache, but it is definitely worth it to your kids and your husband and your brothers and sisters and everybody that loves you to put forth the to get through this, and we hope and pray that you will.
Keep fighting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Keep fighting.
Yeah, definitely
Exactly.
keep fighting. No, that's awesome. Well, Kelly, I think it's super cool that you've got two people here that were willing to come on live onto a podcast, and for somebody they don't know, and do what they're doing. I know they don't know you. I know they do have a connection, but so I would think, just know that there's a lot of people that know you and a lot of people that don't know you that really love you, and that have really, really big hearts that are wishing you the best, and have your support and have your back. I would just encourage everybody, all the listeners and all the watchers of the Rexburg Hustle, to please include Kelly in your prayers. I know there are a lot of people doing this, but we'd like to focus on Kelly, and just the prayers of many I know are definitely very, very helpful. Prayer is very strong. We've gotten through some really hard trials in my personal family life, and we contribute getting through those to prayer and the prayers of others for our family. So, if all the Rexburg Hustle viewers could make sure to include Kelly Wise in your prayers, I think that would be amazing. So, anything else you guys wanted to mention before we wrap up the show?
I was just kind of thinking as we were talking is, how the effects of a community coming together, because, our goal is $15,000. So, if just 1,000 people gave $10,
Right.
there's $10,000 right there. It's something where it's small to us, it's not hard to give $10 to a cause, but, the effects it has on somebody else is, astronomical.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't have to be, a huge grand gesture. It's just kind of, stepping forward and be like, I'll help with what I can.
Yeah. Yep. Anything else, Sammantha, from you? No?
I think Aeryk summed it up great.
Okay, awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. Please keep us posted, and we'll keep our viewers posted on the condition of Kelly and the improvements.
For sure.
So definitely keep us in the loop, and we'll keep the audience in the loop as well. So
Sure.
anyway, thank you guys so much. Rexburg Hustle, guys, thank you so much for watching our show today. Again, please make sure to include Kelly in your prayers. And then Zach, if you can throw that link back up on the screen just before we end the show here, just so everybody can see that one last time. We encourage you guys to go on to help donate to help her with the medical bills that are astronomical, as we kind of have learned, well over $1 million. And just kind of help her and her family get back on their feet. So, guys, we are excited to have you back here next week, next Wednesday. Travis will be back, and we've got, who is our guest next week, Zach? Is it the basketball? It's all about basketball next week, guys. So make sure to join us next week, and thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.